This was supposed to be a bike build. My dream bike showed up to the shop where my dad works. But before it ever left the stand, it became something I'll never forget.
I didn't start with the intention of buying an Aethos. Chicago riding is pan flat, and to ride any gravel, I'd have to drive to those paths. And the ideal bike for me would be something I could hop on from home.
A friend of mine suggested looking at the Aethos.
Essentially, road first, but still versatile. It wasn't the bike that I started looking for, but it quickly became the bike that made the most sense. And yes, this is an absurd bike. The frame on the Specialized Aethos 2 is 595 grams. It's SRAM red access, Roval carbon wheels, 35mm tire clearance, but the specs aren't really what's important. Sure, it explains why the bike is special, but it's not why this day mattered. My dad is the real reason that I got into cycling. He helped me pick out my first real bike after high school, and we would ride together then, but I would almost always get dropped. As time went on, cycling continued to be something we would share together. We'd work on bikes. He introduced me to Zwift in 2018. We went to the Zwift community event together, and this would be the first time that we would build a bike in the shop. So even though I'm of course excited to build the bike, what makes it special is building it in the shop with him. My favorite bike shop, Lucky Break, gave us a little corner of the shop to work in at the busiest time of the year. My dad has worked there as a mechanic after retiring, and Kenny, the owner, was kind enough to let us do this. It was also a blessing to have Kenny there, because when we got to technical aspects that you don't normally come across when building a new bike, he was there to help.
It's a big bike. Ooh, that's light.
The first part of the build was exactly what I hoped it would be. Inch by inch, the bike stopped looking like a shipment and more like the beautiful bike it is. At this point, spirits were high, the bike was mostly in one piece, and nothing had fought back yet. And then we got to the cockpit. The front end of the bike is beautiful. Hardly any cables to be seen as they tuck into the frame and come out through the handlebars. But that means everything comes through the stem, and navigating those wires was the hardest part of the build. There were tiny openings, hard to see routing, and using the hook and pull tools was very difficult. This took a long time in real life, and certainly where the build stopped feeling relaxing.
Yeah.
There we go. As many of you probably know, the cleaner the bike is on the outside, the more complicated it gets underneath. A modern wireless bike is only wireless until you get to the brakes. And in this case, the brake hose, which had to be cut before wiring it through the handlebars, had to be reattached.
It's leaking? I didn't want to crush it.
We want to crush the olive.
Oh, you do?
The olive crushing is the seal.
What was that fluid?
Brake fluid.
Oh, okay. So you adding fluid to it?
You just burp it. See the air that came out?
Oh, yeah. This is where having people that actually knew what they were doing mattered most. Once the cockpit was finally together, the build turned into the usual disc brake check. Is it rubbing?
It's still rubbing.
Yep.
We then took off the rear wheel, removed the cassette, and as my dad put it, took off the plastic Dork disc that was underneath. Once the rear wheel's on, we performed more disc brake checks, listening for that clinking sound that just drives everyone insane.
Okay, let go.
Let go?
Let go. Press it. Let go.
It's gotta be bent somewhere then.
Yeah, it's slight bend.
It was not glamorous, but this is the type of work that makes a nice bike ride well. This was the first time that I actually got on the bike. Obviously, we weren't even close to a ride, but getting in the cockpit, moving the shifters to a comfortable position, That was important.
You're putting those silly black pedals on here? I thought you were gonna put your road pedals on it.
I have to race in the morning.
Oh, gotcha.
It started to feel like a bike I was actually going to ride. The last part of the build was making sure it did more than just look finished.
Basically, we just want the derailleur perfectly straight with the chain on the cassette.
Kenny was a huge help here, making sure that the technical checks were being done properly.
I gotta reset the limit, but yeah.
There wasn't any big dramatic reveal. Instead, we completed final steps such as adding the bar tape, putting on the bottle cages, and wiping the bike down completely. And across all of this, the bike slowly changed from a project to something that was my own. I even did a quick ride outside the shop because I just couldn't wait to have it riding underneath me. And the thing that still surprises me is how light the bike feels. During my first rides around the city of Chicago, I immediately noticed the biggest difference bunny hopping a pothole. The bike felt like nothing underneath me. I was also very surprised by how comfortable the bike rides. The bigger surprise is not just that the bike feels good. It is that it has me riding outside more than I ever have. My first true ride was the Arlington 500 with my dad. This was a 100-kilometer ride. It even brought us back on the roads that are in my hometown that we riding together. At one point, we came across an old Strava segment called Just the Hill, a segment that my dad had created years ago. It's just under half a mile with 73 feet of elevation gain, which is like a mountain in Illinois. My dad egged me on, and I sent the segment, finishing in 1:09 seconds, averaging 596 watts. Only downside was that I missed the top 10 by a single second. Expensive bike, same engine problems. The ride that told me the most about this bike was not a sprint segment. Just a few weeks ago, I did a 50-mile ride up to Fort Sheridan with my friend Carrie Pritchard. This was nothing intense, we were just chatting and riding the whole time. I was never uncomfortable, even when increasing the pace. It's not just a special bike, but something I want to use. I do not want this video to come across as, oh, look at this expensive new bike. The best part is not the specs, it's how it slowly became mine. I built the bike and the memory with my dad, all because Kenny and Lucky Break were kind enough to let us do so. Most of my riding will still happen indoors, but while I'm outside, if I'm dropped, I have nobody to blame but myself.